Hey, everybody, and welcome to this first of its kind of, it's a Zoom virtual media teaching tour kind of a video. And with everything that's going on in our world, everybody's had to become a Zoom expert if you wanted to communicate with friends and family and with followers and people on social media. So I thought I would try something different. And when I was practicing for it, everything worked great. But now that we're doing it, for real, hopefully everything is going to go well. So bear with me. This is my first time doing something like this. I want to start something on my social media pages where if you have a question about something, whether it's about Israel, about what we're doing in Liberia, a question in the Bible. Of course, I'm not an expert on the entire scriptures, and my area of expertise and interest is the gospel. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Yeah, if there's a story, a teaching, a saying of Jesus, a miracle, something that happens in there that you're like, I feel like there's something more than what the story is telling us. Maybe we're missing something as outsiders. Then in the description section of this video, like just kind of below here, ask the question, leave me the comment and say, hey, I've always wondered about, this verse or this story. And if it's something that I'm familiar with, then I'll record a video like this and I'll post it. So it's kind of a cool way for us to be able to stay in touch. And so to that end, one of my followers here on Facebook sent me a question that I thought it was a really good question. Not one that I get asked a lot. Actually, I've never been asked it unless I'm in Israel doing an actual guided tour. Then people say, hey, why is that over there? But because maybe most of you have not been, you've not even thought about asking this question. So this was a really good question. And it comes in from a lady called Darlene. And she says, how is it that only approximately 20% of the Western Wall is visible above the ground and all the rest is underground? That's a really good question. You can kind of see in behind me here, I have a painting that I bought in Israel a few years ago that hangs in my office, and it's the men praying at the Western Wall. And I get asked a lot by people, why the Western Wall? Why do they go there and pray? So I've done teachings on that, but I've never had anybody ask me, why can we only see such a small section? And what's the deal with basically with digging a tunnel under Jerusalem along the Western Wall? So I thought I would try to answer that today. So to do that, I'm going to do something here called a screen share that you can do on this app called Zoom. And like I said, in rehearsal, as it were, it was working really well. So I think this is working. So let me go to full screen here so you can see what I'm seeing. So basically, this is what the question that Darlene was talking about. This is what you're looking at. So let me, again, in rehearsal, everything worked really great. So let's see if I can bring up my little pointer here. Draw arrow. Okay, so this is the Western Wall that she's speaking of here. The 20% or so. She's asking, why can you only see this section of the wall when it clearly keeps running this way and it keeps running this way? So why only this section? And actually, it also runs down this way. It goes down several dozen meters, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So the rest of the wall is still there. It doesn't disappear when you get over here. So this section here, let me switch this over to light. So this section over here, all this here, and then and onwards here, and then it just continues all the way down. This is called the Muslim quarter. So 1,000 years ago, that wasn't there. And definitely in the time of Jesus, none of that was there. It was just all open around the Temple Mount. And then you have the Temple Mount itself. And then where the Golden Dome is today, that's where the original temple, the first temple and the second temple during the time of King Herod and Jesus stood. So nothing that you see, all this stuff around here, none of this was here in the time of Jesus. So about 500 years ago, during one of the Muslim ruling houses, they decided, because they had the Golden Dome here, and then it's just out of frame. Well, here, this is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. They wanted to build their community, so they would have access for, for their regular prayers and their services. And so 500 years ago, they just kind of built on top this section known as the Muslim Quarter today. Another reason why you can only see the wall from here and you can't see anything below is that you have to understand that Jerusalem has probably been one of the most seized cities in the history of mankind, meaning it was seized over and over again by different countries and different ruling armies over time. Basically, anybody who thought they were somebody who came through this area had to take Jerusalem for themselves. So what would happen is you have the original Jerusalem at ground level, and then some invading army or force would come in and they would burn it and destroy it to the ground. So now you have that there. What do? You put dirt over it and you cover it up, and then you build your new city on top of that. Then 500 years later, somebody else comes by, and what do? They attack, they burn it to the ground, they cover it with sand, and what do? They build on top of it. So after hundreds and thousands of years, the Jerusalem we see today is the one that is from about 500 years ago. But below all this court here, below all this area here, like I said, it goes down for several dozen meters. And eventually, when you go down far enough, you hit the actual original ground from the time of King Herod, from the time of Jesus. And you can see these arches here. This is the new entrance where you come in here and you pay your admission, you go in here, and then you go down, and then you follow this until, boom, you come here and you hit the Western Wall. And then you make a left and you go all the way and you continue until you exit, and then you go out through the Lion's Gate. So that's what it looks like today. Let me see if I can go to the next slide here. Let me just stop sharing this for a second, and then do it again. Let me just prepare this. Just bear with me for a second as I go here, and then I will share the desktop again. Did that go? No, that's not what I want. Let's stop share the screen, and let's go here. All right, so let me get my little line here again. Okay, so we were just here. That's the part of the Western Wall that we see today. There's the arches that I told you about, that where we enter into the Western Wall. So let me go to the line. So here's the Western Wall courts. We enter here, we walk down here, and then we just go all the way up to here. And then you exit the tunnels here, and then we walk along this way and we exit through the Lion's Gate. So that's why you only see, so this is an aerial shot to show you the whole area. So you can see the southern wall still there, but same thing. If you keep digging down below, you'll eventually hit the main road. And over here, this is the eastern side, and it goes all the way up there. Same thing, the whole eastern wall is there. And on the north side, it's a little harder to see, but it's all still over here. And if you think about the way this designed, is that what's beneath there is a place called Mount Moriah. Mount Moriah was like a small hill like this. And so it kind of, so you have the hill over here. And what Herod does is, if you think of a shoebox, you know, you have the bottom, then you have the four sides. So take that shoebox and now flip it upside down. So now you have this, you have a nice flat surface, and then you have these four walls, and he would just kind of backfill them in to support the walls. So this is what you're seeing here today. So the walls aren't gone, they're still very much there. And the whole Western Wall tunnel digging project is to see the condition of the wall and to see how far it actually extended as you went down. And so that's kind of the basics of why it is the way it is today, and why you can only see so much. So let me ask you a question. again, post in the comments below. If you've been to Israel, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share your experience about what you felt about the trip and what was your favorite thing that you saw on the trip. And if you haven't gone to Israel, then I'm going to invite you to come with me. And we were supposed to be going this September. We had 70 people signed up, but with everything happening and going on with COVID-19, we had to postpone. It broke my heart to have to do it. It's the largest tour that I've actually personally was going to lead, but there's nothing we can do. Israel is kind of shut off right now to incoming travelers, as most countries in the world are. So we've rebooked the tour for next April. So you can see the date here, April 5th to the 14th, 2021. So for information on that, you can go to my website, which is here, joeamaral.org. Okay, and you'll get the, if you scroll down, you'll see some of the places that we're going to visit. And then below it is the full itinerary. And you can just kind of go through it and see all the places that we're going to visit and the things that we're going to do. And if you want to stay in touch with any updates or changes or more of these video teachings as I respond to your questions, then go over to facebook.com/joeamaralpublic. You can see that there. And just like my page. And either you can check it or you'll receive notifications in your Facebook feed when I post new things. I also do a lot of photos and posting on Instagram, same thing, instagram.com/joeamaral. You can hit pause anytime during these videos to go back and look at the pictures or the web addresses or anything like that. And for almost 20 years now, I've been posting videos, producing videos, television programs, all kinds of stuff. And so if you head over to my YouTube channel, which is basically youtube.com/joeamaral, no spaces. Here, I don't know why it's not showing my tag. So let me put that here so I have the exact link to go to, just like that. So Joe Amaral, if you go there, this is what will come up. And if you click the video section, you can scroll through and there are dozens and dozens. There's teachings, there's podcasts. And I was just in Jerusalem in February and I did these things here called the Walk and Talks. I did a 12-part series. So starting here with episode 1, it goes all the way through to episode 12 over here. And it's walking through the streets of Jerusalem, showing you sights. So if that's something that you want to check out, you can go there. Okay, that pretty much sums up and wraps up that question. So I hope that answered the question that you had. And again, feel free in the description below, ask me any questions you have about Israel, the Bible, specifically in the Gospels when it comes to the life of Jesus, and I'll do my best to answer it. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time.